right, we back today. We got the roof put on. We showed you some video and pictures of the roofing crew taking the roof all the way down to the old cedar shakes that were originally put on the house when the house was built. They stripped it all down. We put new decking, new felt, new shingles, drip edge. But one thing I noticed when I pulled up to this job today, and if you remember last week, I was just fucking around and I said, you know, we got done right roofing, AKA done wrong roofing on the job to get the roof done. I was saying, you know, he fucks up a lot of shit. And that was, you know, I was kind of joking, but he has done some things, but he always come back and take care of it. But if you notice, one thing that he did not do when they put this roof on was they didn't add any roof vents. And it was the first thing that I noticed when I pulled up to the job today. There's a project manager that's here on the job every day, and so we miss things. Everybody, you know, when you're in this business, it could be something that you're gonna miss, but something like that is kind of major because without roof vents, then you get a buildup of a lot of heat. Because if you look today, we got a nice sunny day, but imagine if you're in that house and you know, you have no roof vents, then that heat has nowhere to go except inside of the house. So it's gonna come down in the living area space. But those roof vents help to get that air out of the attic, and it will help keep your house a whole lot cooler during the summer months, and then during the winter months, it'll help keep all of that cold air from just sitting and also coming into the living space. That was one of the first things I noticed when I pulled up today. So we called him. He's gonna come back. We call it Do It Again Roofing. That's his other nickname. So he's gonna come back and install the roof vents like they should be. And I asked him, minimum put 4 roof vents in on the south side because that side is not as noticeable as this north side. And so it would just look a little bit better to have them on the south side where you just can't see them in plain view. Another thing we got going on, we had demolition crews over here. They demoed the house like we wanted it done. But one thing I wish they would have done was gotten this off the curb. This was done before they had taken on the job, but we still should have had them get that off the curb, had them come through rake and use a blower to blow out all of this old chip paint and glass and debris. Now there's a real big reason for me wanting that done, and I learned an expensive lesson for not getting it done. I got hit with a fine for $1 million one time by the EPA. And what happened was an inspector had seen all of this old debris around the house, like this paint chips and stuff like that. Looks like nothing to us, but it's actually lead. This house was built before 1978, so any paint and materials used back then for the exterior most likely had lead in it. And so what the city is trying to do is keep that from getting out into the weather and exposing people to lead and kids breathing it in and stuff like that. So it's super important that this type of stuff is handled in a certain way. And so this sitting out here right now for me is a big problem. These right here, these are the original siding on the house. This siding is actually made out of asbestos. And everybody probably heard about asbestos and how it can cause cancer and so on and so on. This siding is fine as long as it's painted over. It's called encapsulation. As long as it's painted over, it's fine. But once you remove this siding and you start to break it up, you release those fibers into the air. And that's what could cause cancer and people get sick and, you know, on and on and on. So it's important not to ever take these off a house if you see them unless it's done by a company that is licensed and been trained to deal with something like that. And I'll show you a couple of houses that I've just recently had stripped down of this type of siding, and they came in and did it. It was between $2,000 to $4,000 each house, but you don't want to get caught with your pants down removing this and the EPA or a city inspector comes through, hit you in the head for it. It's going to be a very expensive lesson for you. You don't need to go through that because I've already done it for you. I've already paid the fine for you. So I'm here today to tell you about it so you don't have to deal with that. That's, you know, as you taking my class, that's what you're paying me for, is for me to teach you all the mistakes I made and how to do things the way they should be done, which is going to save you a lot of headaches and a lot of money over time.